the divine souls. We're continuing with this series on the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. Thus far, we've covered the first 12 chapters. In each chapter, we're doing one chapter per day. I'm giving you the highlights. The Gita covers many, many topics, as it is the essence of the Upanishads, which are the essence of the Vedas. Veda is so extensive. In totality, it's 1,00,000 mantra, 100,000 verses of the Vedas. All of that Vedic knowledge is condensed into 1,180 Upanishads, which sounds like a lot, but it's a very small percentage of the overall Veda, only about 6%. And the essence of all the Upanishads is in the Gita, in only 700 shlokas. So the Gita is a very condensed knowledge. And you can say everything is in the Gita. All the philosophies are in the Gita. For all the different, just like Vedas is known as Kalpataru. Whatever anyone wants, they want Swarg, they want Narak, they want this world, they want the divine world. Whatever they want, Veda tells you how to get it. You do these wrong, this is the dharma. You do these wrong actions, don't follow the dharma, okay, go to narak. Follow dharma, okay, go to swarg. Do a mix of good and bad actions, come back to this world. Surrender yourself fully to God, go to the divine world. Enjoy divine bliss. So Veda tells everything. All of that knowledge is condensed into the Upanishads with a focus on God realization. And that Upanishadic knowledge is condensed into one small little scripture, the Gita, which, as you know, is a conversation between Shree Krishna and Arjun, which took place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra more than 5,000 years ago. It was later recorded by Vedavyas, who himself is another form of Sri Krishna. So he wrote it. You can say in one form, Sri Krishna told the Gita to Arjun. And in his other form, as Vedavyas, he wrote it down in a book later on when he was writing the Mahabharata, which also is a huge scripture, 100,000 shlokas in the Mahabharata. Part of that is Gita. So this Gita covers many, many topics in each chapter. So we don't have the time for one small lecture in each chapter to cover each and every verse. Thus, I'm covering some of the highlights. And that too, I'm covering those points which are of particular interest to us practically in our life, and especially for those who wish to follow the path of bhakti. Gita also tells karma, and I'll describe a little bit about that. Gita also tells Gyan Marg. I'll tell a little bit about that. But since bhakti is the most practical path to God in Kali Yuga, you can say the only practical path, the only path which the souls can actually follow in Kali Yuga. So I am concentrating particularly on those verses that refer to bhakti, or I'm telling you the meaning of them according to how you can apply it on the path of bhakti. So the 13th chapter covers very deep knowledge. Our Sanatan Dharma is amazing in its depth and detail of the subjects it covers. This 13th chapter tells us so much about God, about the souls, and about this world. Just in this 13th chapter, that I don't think you could find so much information anywhere else. Meaning in our Hindu Granth, yes, of course, Vedas, Upanishads, but anywhere else, there's no such detail. Not about the world, not about God, not about souls. Today's topic is a little bit intellectual. It's probably of the remaining 6 chapters we have to cover. Today's topic is the most intellectual. So I'll do my best to make it digestible for you and understandable and rememberable. But it'll take a little bit of concentration from your part. In this, Shree Krishna is only describing about these 3 things: God, the souls, and Maya. We say Brahma, Jeev, Maya. He's doing it with some different terminology. In the beginning, he starts using the words Kshetra and Kshetragya. Kshetra, he says, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. He says in literal words, the kshetra, which kshetra literally means the field. The kshetra is the body. Arjun, know that the kshetra is the body. We'll go into more detail, don't worry. You'll understand what he's talking about. Then he says kshetragya. So gya means the one who knows. So kshetragya, the one who knows the kshetra. So what is that? He says, Arjun, I am the kshetra. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. O Bharat, O Arjun, know that I am the knower of the kshetra. And sarva kshetreshu means, and I am in all the kshetra. However many kshetra there are, I am in all of them. Kshetreshu means in them. Sarva kshetreshu, in all of those kshetra, I am there, Krishna is saying. So this is how he begins. He says, Arjun, this knowledge is the supreme knowledge. If you know this, if you understand this, there's nothing more for you to know, and you'll never have to be reborn again. If you just understand this knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetragya. Okay, so it's an important knowledge. So, Sri Krishna, please tell us more about this Kshetra and Kshetragya. So he starts with Kshetra. He tells us what is in the Kshetra. Mahabhutanyahankaro buddhiravyaktamevacha indriyani dashaikancha pancha chendriyagochara. He counts off 24 things. He's telling us what the kshetra is. He says Mahabhut. What is Mahabhut? The 5 material elements. Akash, the space. Vayu, the air. Tej, you can say fire or the light and heat energy. Jal, water, or if you're looking at it in terms of the unfoldment of the universe, it's not simply water, it's the first atom, hydrogen atom, Jal. That's the base of water as well. And then Prithvi. Prithvi means hard, solid matter, the earth. These are the 5 material elements out of which everything is made. So he says, what is in the kshetra? I'm telling you, there's Pancha Mahabhut, these 5 elements. Then he also mentions Avyakt. Avyakt means behind those 5 Pancha Mahabhut, there's an original energy. Avyakt means unmanifest. So that is also referred to as Prakriti or as Maya. The original material energy. See, when this universe is created or when God manifests the universe, initially it's in a dormant state. The energy is there, the Maya is there, but it's dormant. So it's called avyakt. Then he activates it, only then those panchamahabhut are produced. They actually are produced a few steps down the line. Each step is less subtle. So absolutely subtle is that avyakt energy. Then comes a few more steps. I'm not burdening you with the names of all of that. Part way along the way comes this panchamahabhut. So far he's up to 6 things. Avyakt, panchamahabhut. He also mentions buddhi and man and ahankar. 3 more things. Those 3 things are often referred to by one name in Sanskrit, antahakaran. Your inner self, your mind, you can say, mind. But mind is being described into 3 different aspects here. Man is your emotional mind, buddhi is your intellectual mind, and ahankar is your sense of self, you can say, your self-awareness that I am. These are 3 different aspects of one single mind, but he's naming them in 3 different ways. So you have panchamahabhut, you have avyakt maya, you have the 3 facets of your own mind, man, buddhi, ahankar. In addition to that, he says, indriyani dashaikancha. Indriyani dash. Dash means 10. 10 senses. So you might say, thought we only had 5 senses. Yes, you have 5 subtle senses and 5 less subtle senses. Or you can say 5 senses of perception and 5 senses of action. The senses of perception you're well familiar with. Sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of smell, and sense of touch. Interestingly, these 5 senses of perception actually match up with the panchamahabhut. Those panchamahabhut, the space, the air, the light and heat energy, the tej or fire, the water, and the earth. They produce 5 what's called panchagocharan, means objects of the senses. And then 5 senses to experience those 5 objects of the senses. So in the space, sound can travel. So sound is one of the objects of the senses. So you have the akash, that's one of the panchamahabhut. Then you have what's in the akash, or what can be perceived in the akash, sound. So that is one of the, there's another name, panchatanmatra. That's the 5 objects of the senses. So sound is affiliated or comes from that akash. So the sense of hearing is affiliated with that. Then you have vayu. That's affiliated with the sense of touch. Then you have tej. That's obviously sense of sight. Then you have jal, the water. That's affiliated with the sense of taste. And then you have prithvi, which is affiliated with the sense of smell. So you have the 5 original material elements, the 5 objects of the senses, and then you have 5 subtle senses or senses of perception. Then you have 5 senses of action. They are your hands, the hand itself is not a sense, but the sense of being able to manipulate things, grab things, hug things, hit things, all of that is performed with a sense of action. It's called karmendriya. The other ones, the senses of perception, are called jnanendriya. They're more subtle. Karmendriya is less subtle. So just like your sense of sight is not your eye, but it functions through your eye, similarly, that sense of action functions through your hands. The sense of locomotion functions through your feet. That's the second sense. Then you have your vani, your voice, your ability to communicate. That's the third sense of action. And then you also have two more, which are the sense of action related to reproduction, and the fifth related to elimination of bodily waste. These are our five senses of action, five karmendriya. So now, see, let's count. Panchamahabhut, the five material elements. Then you have the 10 senses, five senses of perception, five senses of action. We're up to 15. Panchatan matra, the five objects of the senses. Now we're up to 20. Then we have Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, the three facets of our mind. We're up to 23. And Avyakt, the original material energy, that's 24. So Krishna names all of this. He says, this is what the Chaitra is made up of. Interestingly, in another scripture called Sankhya Darshan, it's one of the 6 schools of philosophy, or 6 Darshan Shastras. It's by Bhagwan Kapil. He wrote this Sankhya Darshan. In there, he enumerates a cup of milk, and I pour the water into the milk. The water and milk mix, but the water didn't become milk, and the milk didn't become water, yet the two are so much together now you can't separate them. So the mind is adhyast in the soul, like that, like water in the milk. Your mind is just with the soul, like that. Soul has the potential to think, perceive, and experience on its own, but it can't do so without the mind. And a good way to understand this is, think of your sense of sight. This lens you have, your cornea, that lens is an integral part of your ability to see. But it's not the only part, right? Your sense of sight includes your entire mind, the subtle sense of sight, and then the physical organ of the eye is also part of it. Through that, the light passes. But it has to be interpreted then by even more subtle parts of your being. So that lens, if you remove that, you can't see anything. But the potential to see is there, right? You're here, you've got an active mind, your sense of sight is intact. You're just missing the lens. Put the lens in, you can see. So see, the potential to see is there, you just need that one little lens. Similarly, the soul has the potential to think and know and understand and experience. It simply needs the mind there as the final piece in order to be able to do it. Now the mind is a Mayic thing, but with that Mayic mind, we can think. We can experience. Another way to think of it is like a car. The engine's pumping, the pistons are pumping, it's driving the drive shaft. That connects to the axle. I don't know if they still make cars like this nowadays. Now imagine that connection to the axle is not there. So, once you connect it to the axle, then the drive shaft is going to spin the axle, and that's going to make your tires go. So let's say that connection was broken. The engine's still pumping, pistons are pumping, all that potential kinetic energy is there. But without that final connection, you're not going to go anywhere. That's like the soul without a mind. The soul's alive, it's your true identity, and you have all this potential to perceive and experience everything, but it can't happen without a mind. So during Mahapralaya, since the mind is Mayic, the mind becomes dormant, so during that time we still exist, but we're not aware of anything. Without the mind, you can't even be aware of your own existence. So we need the mind in order to do anything, but the problem is the mind is Maya. So we can only experience Maya things, even though our true desire is for divinity. Our true desire is for divine happiness. Makes sense. Our soul is divine, so we want divine happiness. Our body, senses, and mind are material, so they can enjoy material things. It's okay, no problem. So the true desire of the soul is only for God, because God is divine bliss. But how will we ever experience God when we have no means? How are we going? He's divine. We don't have divine eyes. It's very simple. He told us in the Gita, in the 11th chapter, also in the 10th chapter, he said you need divine eyes to see Him. You get those eyes by surrendering to Him. You get divine eyes, or you can say divine eyesight, by surrendering to Him. He says to Arjun, when he's talking about the mind in the 10th chapter, you surrender, I give you a divine mind. He gives a divine mind. He says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. You surrender, I give a divine mind. That's it. With that divine mind, you know me. I also give divine eyes. In the 11th chapter, Arjun said, Krishna, I want to see your divine form. Can you please show me that? He said, you can't see me without divine eyes. Okay, then give me divine eyes. Okay, since you're surrendered. Divyam dadami te chakshum pashyame yogamaishwaram. Okay, have divine eyes and see my divine form. So we have to surrender to Him in order to receive divine eyes. How to become surrendered? You use your same mind, interestingly enough. This mind, which is Mayic, and which is always playing in the Mayic things, trying to enjoy the objects of the senses in this world, you use the very same mind to surrender to God. What else can we use? We don't have anything else to use. So Krishna, knowing we don't have a divine mind, He's not demanding divine things from us. He's not saying, no, I don't want your material mind. I'm divine, bring me divine things. No, we have nothing divine to offer Him. So He says, okay, just give me your material mind. That's all you have? Give it to me. That's what surrender means. Give your mind to Krishna. It doesn't mean physically. And we already know how to do this. You know, you might be thinking, how do I give my mind? You've already given your mind to the ones you love. We normally say, give my heart, right? That's it, same thing. You give your heart to the one you love. So give your heart to Krishna. That's it. That's bhakti. Mahi chananya yogena bhaktiravyabhicharini Vivikta desha sevitva maratir jana sansadi. He says, do ananya bhakti. He uses both the word ananya and avyabhicharini. Means the mind should be focused. Your desire should be for Krishna. Generally, whatever we desire, that's where our mind goes. If you're sitting here and your stomach starts rumbling and you're thinking, Swamiji was just talking about M&Ms. So now you have a desire for M&Ms, or it's a hot day, maybe you're thinking of ice cream. So that desire came in the mind, it means now your mind went to ice cream. It's not in the speech anymore, it's in the ice cream. So whatever we desire, that's where our mind goes. So we have to desire for God. And how to desire for Him? Simply by understanding. we want perfect happiness. That perfect happiness or divine happiness is not to be found anywhere within those 24 tattva. Where do you go then? Go to God. So desire Him only. We'll talk more. This brings up many other questions. I can't get into everything today. An obvious question is, desire only God? What about my family? What about my job? What about the world? If I don't have material desires, how will I have any ambition to do anything in this world? Will I just lie like a log on the couch? So these are practical questions that come up in people's minds when they hear the philosophy of the Gita, and we'll get into these in quite some detail in the days to come. For now, just understand that Krishna is saying we have to give our mind to Him through bhakti, and that bhakti should be single-minded. We should desire only for Him. He says, Vivikta desha sevitva. Our mind is very fickle. It's like a candle flame. If the wind blows, the candle flame can go out. Similarly, we may be trying to think about God and a little distraction comes and our mind runs over there. So until we get more practice in sadhana, means attaching our mind to God, when we want to attach our mind to God, we need to do so in a place where we won't be distracted. So vivikta desha sevitva, go to an isolated place. It could be a room in your house. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be in the jungle. Wherever you are, find an isolated place and try to focus your mind on Krishna. And on the path of bhakti, that means thinking about His personal form. The path of Gyan is for worshipping His formless aspect. That's not for the path of bhakti. In the path of bhakti, we love His personal form. He's saying, give your heart to me. How can you give your heart to formless God? Can you love a formless mother? No, when you think of loving someone, you think of loving someone with a beautiful face, smiling in a kindly way at you. That's someone you can love. You can't love a formless energy, even if it is God. So it means thinking of Krishna in His personal form. Loving, caring, playful, charming, beautiful. That form of Krishna we should think of. Find some time every day to sit. You can do some kirtan also to help keep your mind from wandering and keep you from getting bored. And he says, aratihi janasansadihi. Aratihi means no attachment. This comes up again and again in the Gita as well. No attachment in this sansar. Attachment and desire also go together. If whatever you desire, you develop attachment to. This is the way our mind works. You keep thinking about that ice cream. Oh, I like mint chocolate chip. Keep thinking about that, you're developing your attachment to ice cream. We fall in love the same way. Keep thinking about the good qualities of a person, their beauty, the way they act or talk that you like so much. Keep thinking about that, your attachment grows. That attachment is called love. Start thinking about negative things, negative parts of that person's personality, or notice that, oh no, that thing I thought was good, it's not as good as I thought. Your love goes down because your attachment is reducing. So attachment forms naturally for the things that we desire because we always think about the thing we desire. So it makes sense if you want to attach your mind to Krishna, you only have one mind. So you can't also attach the same mind in the world. Although right now it's already fully attached in the world. So we don't have to worry about that. It's completely attached in the world. Now we have to start gradually bringing it. It never happens instantly. It's in percentages. Today you might sit for an hour thinking of Krishna, meditating on His form, on His divine leelas. Maybe you transferred 0.01% of your attachment to Him today. That's a lot if you think about it. So you keep doing that, and gradually your attachment and your desire grows for Krishna and reduces for the world. But in order to do that, we have to have that understanding, which he gave us in this chapter, that all of this Mayic phenomenon doesn't contain any real happiness. It's just Prakriti playing within Prakriti. So forget about that. You won't be able to forget about it. But you tell your mind, you want real happiness? How are you going to get happiness from Prakriti playing within Prakriti? No. Put your mind in Krishna. He is true happiness. It's a process. But that one point has to be accepted. If we accept that point, only then the mind starts going towards Krishna. If the mind doesn't accept that point, then it will only keep looking for happiness in the world, and will never even transfer 0.01% of our attachment to Krishna. We'll keep doing as we often have done, or even when we pray to Him, it's to ask for more of Maya, more worldly things, which shows that our attachment is not in Him even though we're praying to Him. Our desire is for the world, that's why we're asking Him for that. So this is the process of bhakti that we have to follow, that gradually transfers our attachment to Him and purifies our antahakaran. And when that process is complete, and we have 100% attachment and desire only for Krishna, that is the moment that He graces us with divine senses and divine mind, and then we perceive divinity and we experience the absolute bliss, who is Krishna, and we see Him in His personal form. So this is just a glimpse into the philosophy of the 13th chapter. There are a couple of other verses that I was hoping to cover today, but I've already been speaking for long enough. I may take up a couple of those in the beginning tomorrow. We'll also cover the philosophy of the 14th chapter tomorrow, where you'll learn that there's no such thing as an evil person or a good person. We say, oh, he's a good soul. Oh, he is evil. There's no such thing. So how is it so? You'll learn tomorrow. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal